it's time for our weekly speaker spot. Each week, a member gets 8 minutes to share with the group further insights into their business or enlighten the group a little bit more about themselves. Members can also use this time to problem solve or seek assistance and advice from the group as a collective. The time is yours to use how you wish. Misty, over to you and your crown.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Joe. So today we have the wonderful Jennifer Fiedler as our speaker today at Business at Breakfast. She is a little bit about Jennifer. Jennifer Fiedler is a film industry refugee who dropped out to pursue a different course that turned into an epic adventure spanning 4 continents and 9 years. She's worked in feature films and TV shows, mentored young filmmakers, trained foreign business professionals in conversational English, lectured at university film schools, and developed a transformational coaching practice for women that centers around enoughness, authenticity, and connection to the divine as the keys for unlocking confidence and self-trust. Cosmic Bitch Slap is the book she wrote about her life experiences, full of accidental discoveries that were ignored and how the universe opened her eyes. So with that, Jennifer, you have up to 8 minutes to tell us more about you and this that you're doing. If you're less than 8 minutes, so at the 8-minute mark, I'm going to do this, which gives you a chance to wrap it up, but I won't cut you off. If you take less than 8 minutes, it's just more time for us to ask questions of you. But with that, you may take it away. You have the floor.
Thank you, Misty. That was a great introduction. You should be presenting nominees at the Academy of Motion Arts and Pictures for the award ceremony. Hey, hi guys. Absolutely. We'll work on it. Hey, hi everybody. As Misty just said, I'm Jennifer. I'm the author of Cosmic Bitch Slap. That's my book that I'm selling for $25, and it's for people who are really curious about what a bitch slap actually is and really interested to find out what in the world movie making could possibly teach them about life, and really excited to have their own first edition before this book's nothing but a digital dream. You know, the film industry is one of the most brutal, competitive, toxic workplaces known to man. It's very extreme and it's very addictive. And when I say addictive, I don't mean like an addiction to booze or blow or opioids. No. I mean a serious addiction to the heights of exhilaration, mind-blowing exhilaration, and nonstop excitement. But all that exhilaration and excitement can't really block the toxic nature of what goes on. And after 20 years of holding all the toxicity at bay, my arms got tired. And knowing I was burned out, I dropped out. And then I freaked out because I had no idea what I would do next. When I figured it out, the result was this epic adventure that was a 180-degree turn for me that took me, as Misty introduced, to 4 continents and took more than 9 years, with me living in Korea and India and Warsaw and Barcelona before returning to the US, which is where I currently reside. And during the vacuum of COVID isolation, I knew I had to write a book about how I had absolutely no idea that this great, huge bag of sharp, shiny filmmaking tools, like how in the world those could possibly be applied to other contexts. And that's what I discovered over the course of this adventure. And that's pretty much what a cosmic bitch slap is. It's how the universe shows us something that we've either been ignoring, or we're unable to perceive, or we're unwilling to see. And also where the subtitle came from, Accidental Discoveries, Compliments of the Universe. Although I must say I wanted to do something kind of like how the universe showed me all the things I already knew, or something along those lines. But too bad, too late, already copyrighted. I also, I'm a transformational coach working with entrepreneurs and consultants and leaders. I help them overcome their pain points around confidence and authenticity and self-worth and connection to the universe. And I offer personalized coaching programs that start at $500. And also, not quite ready to throw in the towel yet, I still teach a filmmaking masterclass. Sorry, just makes me laugh at myself that I just can't give it up. Filmmaking masterclass that is designed for young filmmakers wanting to transcend whatever shit they were taught in film school and get a leg up in the film industry, but also for YouTubers needing to up the ante on their credibility and authority and professionalism and look of their channel. And so that's me. And I thank you for being here today.
Excellent. Well done, Jennifer. I think that was done in less than 8 minutes. I completely forgot to set a timer. So
it was 3.5.
There you go. Nice. All right. Who's got questions for Jennifer? Yep, Sarah.
Oh, Jennifer, do we have to do a show? Absolutely. I call it the cosmic 2x4. I love the bitch slap. It's much, much better. Writing the book, you say, which came first for you? The inspiration of the industry that you're in? Would you say that was the self-discovery, then relayed it in the book itself? Or is even the book that you wrote become a self-discovery?
The book was not the self-discovery. The self-discovery was how, we get so tunnel visioned about this is what I do in the workplace and whatever. And as humans, we frequently don't see the similarities. We're programmed to see differences rather than similarities. Yeah. And so basically, I had no idea that all this shit I learned making movies for 20 years was actually applicable to navigating life. And that's what the impetus for writing the book was, so that I could deliver some of that to other people going through the same thing.
Their own self-discovery.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Balick.
Yeah, I belong to a couple of film groups here in Phoenix, and it's interesting how do you make a movie and what do you need? And today, the smartphone seems to be the device, but funding is always an issue. How has that changed in over the years, or are people still investing in that and into making a movie?
Of course. Plus ça change. Nothing changes. You need millions of dollars to make movies, and that doesn't grow on trees. And so that's acquired through foreign pre-sales, and executive producers provide money for motion pictures and TV shows, as do creators or stars. Like Tom Cruise, for instance, executive produces his motion pictures because he knows what his box office value is, which is to say, box office opening weekend, I know this show's going to gross $87 million. And so I can fund 50 million of it or whatever. But yes, nothing ever changes. And by the way, a movie on an iPhone isn't really a movie now, is it?
Excellent. Thank you. Dr. Chris.
No, it's not, but it's the way I think. There's actually festivals of iPhone movies. So yeah, I'm sure you're aware of those. Jennifer, that was fantastic, and it just speaks to the addictive nature of the arts, filmmaking and other arts, and why it's so difficult to let go without feeling a sense of failure, because we're so intimately and inextricably personally invested in and embedded in, enmeshed in the work. So it's really hard to give it up without feeling some kind of sense of loss or pain. So it's great that you've written a book about that process. So thank you. That was really, really good stuff.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. And do please sign up to buy one. I bet you, I
I'll
know
think about
it'd
it.
make you laugh.
So I have to tell you something very cool about Jennifer, right? So initially Jennifer was only going to have it like sort of as a digital copy, and then she planned to put it out on Audible. And then I met Jennifer, I was chatting to her about it and saying about how to have hard copies, because the truth is hard copies cost a lot of money to get printed, and then most authors end up with a bunch load of hard copies that don't do anything with it. So the secret to selling a book, in my opinion, is you pre-sell it. Sell it in advance, get the cash to make the hard copy, hand those ones over, and it's actually way easier to do it to sell the book before it comes out than it is to sell it after the fact. But so from there, that's how we get to have a real copy, because I like real copies. And anyhow, based on this idea,
that story. Do not tell that story. Do not.
Okay,
tell
I
that
won't
story.
tell the story, but based off this, nobody's off limits, and Jennifer has sold copies of the book to many different groups of people. That's all I'm saying. Over the last couple of weeks, but I really like that it is forefront in her mind is her book, and to spread her message, because the truth is you can't overexpose yourself. You can't say what it is that you're doing too many times. You might upset a few people along the way, says I've heard all about it, but after a while, say when the book comes out, they say I'm so pleased you kept reminding me of it, because I really did need that copy of that book. So I do like the lessons that Jennifer's learning moving forward is to just keep telling, keep asking, keep saying. Something in regards to book sales, which people may not think of. If you're part of a book club, this would be a great book for it, right? If you'd like to be part of a book club, this would be a great book to get started on it for the New Year's. If you know someone who's part of a book club, I would suggest you suggest this book, because I think this would be a fun, great book for them to get into for a book club as well. And since you know the author, I suppose at some point you could probably suggest to them, maybe I might be able to get her into a chat. Maybe. So it's always good to know the author when you're part of a book club. Mr. Langer, you've got your hand up.
Okay,
You're
mute's off. My mute's off. It's all good. So, Jennifer, thanks so much for that. We, brilliant. And I've been very grateful to have some chats with you and get to know you better. And very grateful that you've been able to share some of the insights from the book with me. So based on that, guys, I'd say go and buy the freaking book. Get a copy, because it's not just for girls, it's for guys as well, from what I've been exposed to. Really, really resonates. I do have a question for you though, Jennifer. With regard to your coaching for entrepreneurs, what are the specific issues that people are sort of talking about when they're talking about to be an ideal client for you, and what are the outcomes they can expect?
Primarily, I deal quite a bit with confidence issues that stem from I'm not confident enough to be authentically myself, and this self-worth thing that I'm like sick to death of hearing about imposter syndrome, but that is the jargon for what we're talking about, which is we wake up every morning and look in the mirror and think, what the hell am I doing? And today's the day I'm going to be discovered and all hell will break loose. And what have I done? And what am I doing? So these are critical issues. These affect both men and women. And so the outcomes that people can expect touching upon these pain points around these things is a really different perspective that's objective and outside and insightful and wise, and given from somebody who's witnessed a vast culturescape that, whilst diverse, has similarity underlying it at the end of the day. That really kind of snaps them in, snaps you, them, whomever, into a different way of looking at themselves, and also the spiritual aspect. And I use that word hesitantly because I'm not talking about Jesus, but I mean, whatever, if you, God, Allah, Jesus, spirit, universe, the word is yours to choose. But when we lose our connection with that, our connection with that is the source of our strength and our sense of self and our ability to expand and achieve whatever we want. And I find that for so many of these people I work with, they have lost that connection, or they feel disconnected, or so we work a lot around that of holding up a mirror to, like, right, so this means you're connected, right? Have you thought of that? Wow, never occurred to me. So kind of like that.
Yeah, cool. So that reminds me of what you said in the book about that voice, which most of us ignore. Cool. By the way, there is electroshock therapy for getting out of the film industry, just to sort of break that last bit of addiction.
Yeah, I had it.
Yeah,
And thank God I didn't come out lobotomized.
I got
Yes,
some
quite.
contacts for you.
Oh, sweet. Turn me on, man. Hook me up.
Excellent. All right, we've got 2 more questions before we keep moving on. Tammy.
Thanks for that, Jennifer. As the receiver myself of a few universal bitch slaps, I love the title of the book. And the spiritual guide stuff, I found mine. He's called Trevor. So
Sweet.
my question is, for someone who's maybe just been at the receiving end of one of those bitch slaps, what would you say would be the first thing someone should do?
To be receptive to what they've been given, because it's insight, and receptivity is everything. So when we go into this in a modality of receptivity, it all just like drops in, right? So what we don't want is for something to drop in, or an insight specifically to drop in, and for you to go, oh no, no, didn't work before, no, it's all about receptivity.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Bellick.
I just wanted to provide a confirmation on that pre-sale. Some names you've heard of, like JT Fox and all of these people, they all pre-sell those books, some of them even before they write a word. In this case, there's been some words written, but yeah, so the pre-sale is the way to go in many things, including summits, seminars, and such. So just a confirmation.
Wow. Thank you for that, because as Misty said, I must say, in all honesty, it never would have occurred to me in a million years. And the people with whom I work and whatnot, as Misty said, I was going to exclusively do this digitally, and a number of people were like, wait, what? I want one. And, like, there it is. I want to see it. It's magenta. I want one. And I was like, yeah, no, whatever, man, not going to happen. So about 6 people said that to me, and then Misty knocked sense into me. And for you guys, I just really want to dial you in on the story I forbade her from telling, which is
Because my version might be slightly skewed.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'd rather I tell the story. Quite. Thank you so much. And the crown. Don't let's forget the crown. But yeah, man, in mid-October, one of my very dear friends in LA, I lived in LA for 20 years. I'm in a suburb of Chicago now. My friend Bob was killed on his bike when he was doored and flung into oncoming traffic. And the Monday was Bob's birthday. And Bob's the guy who sublet my flat when I left on this adventure to move to Korea. And I found a very accidental meeting, but we had an instant affinity and had a very close friendship for 15 years. And Bob was a Hollywood creative producer who'd worked on huge franchises like Pirates of the Caribbean and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Bobby's birthday was a Monday, and I texted him, and we had a big yak fest and laughing and carrying on and whatnot. And on the Wednesday, I got an email from another producer friend of ours who's in Toronto saying, geez, Fiedler, I'm really sorry to deliver this in an email, but I didn't have your number, whatever. And Bobby was in this accident and he didn't make it. And I was like, what? And I texted Bob, I screenshot the email and texted Bobby saying, dude, is somebody taking the piss? Is Greg taking the piss? Like, what is this? And indeed, the day after his birthday, he had this accident. And so it was right around this time that I'd had this meeting with Misty about making a paperback version of my book. And I woke up the next day and I'm like, you know what? I need to dedicate this book to Bobby, because one of the chapters in the book is about when I met him. And in the book, his character's name is Sam. And I flipped him the excerpt, and he forever after that referred to himself as Sam, you know. So his memorial service was in Los Angeles and I was unable to attend. And I recorded an encomium to Bobby, because these were people there who were all intimate members of my circle of friends. Of course, I don't mean intimate in a biblical sense, but we were a tight group of people who'd worked together and known each other for a really long time. And I was gutted that I couldn't be there. So Bobby's wife, I sent this thing I recorded to his wife, and she called me back. It was so hard, man. She called me back, and of course she was crying. And on the phone, she said, you know, I should have waited to call you back until after I had finished watching this. And I'm sorry I picked up the phone. Anyway, can I screen this at his memorial service? And I said, absolutely, you can. And so part of what I recorded in this encomium was me saying what I just said to y'all, and so I decided, I didn't say, and this world famous sales trainer told me to pre-sell my fucking book, but I said, and so I decided to dedicate this book to Bobby. And yeah, it was all really unexpected because I was speaking from the heart. And of course, the camera was at the back of the church. So I'm looking at the back of people's heads. And on the right side were all the people I know, and the left side was I don't know who those people were, but it was really an extraordinary thing, because as this thing played, people were laughing hysterically and then crying hard, and it made me feel bad because none of that was my intention. I'm not trying to like crack people up at a funeral, nor am I saddening them even further to make them weep. But it was just an experience I wanted to share, and the backstory and the way Misty tells the story is that I sold the damn book to people at a funeral.
She basically pitched her book by accident to a funeral of grieving people. I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant because the truth is they all need a copy anyway, right? And they were already
yeah, right on.
It's done now. So yeah, my take on it, yes, might be a little bit slightly different, but ultimately it's kind of the same thing. And it's, you know what, I think it's a great way to end with someone, and by the sound of it, Bobby probably would have actually got a real chuckle out of it anyway. So
oh, definitely.
I think it's great. All right, thank you so much, Jennifer, for being our speaker today. Thank you, audience, for participating and asking all those great questions. The links are in the chat. I've put them in there as well. So if you haven't got a copy and you want a copy, you'll be able to just click that and then go through to the payment screen, or however that works out with Jennifer. And just keep collecting the list of names, Jennifer. I can't wait. So early 2024 is when it'll start going to print, which is super exciting. Or anyone add something? Mr. Langer? Yep. Can't hear you because you're on mute.
Sorry. So firstly, buy Jennifer's book, worth every penny, many times over.